We are halfway through the 2024 football season for the Sam Houston Bearkats, and wow, what a start. They are coming off of a 41-21 victory over UTEP in El Paso to start the season, 5-1 heading into the bye week, and it could not have come at a better time. But at this time, Luke, let's just embrace it. We're 5-1, baby, and it looks like the Bearcats are not slowing down. Hello, everyone. Sam Houston Sports Talk podcast coming right your way. Pod number 23. We're at our Jordan pod, Luke, and you know it's it's amazing that we're still doing this. I mean, the amount of support we're still getting. I mean, I sound like a broken record every time we talk about the support that we're getting, but man, thank you all. Over 600 followers on Twitter/X. Luke, we cannot thank the people enough. That's for sure. And you're just celebrating over there. I'm ecstatic. I'm really happy with what we've been getting from the Bearcat faithful, including those outside the Bearcat faithful too that will follow us and
Oh
also
yeah.
repost our stuff.
Oh yeah. The YouTube subscriber count, that's more of our slow, easy going ride. It's just kind of just doing like this. The Twitter, man, it just bam, it just went straight up, and we got a huge influx of followers there from the Texas State game, and now the UTEP. I know the Twitter space that we hosted. Let's see, that was last night. That was actually this morning, technically. It was so late
Bearcats after
that
dark,
game
baby.
ended, but it was after dark. But no, just the support that we've been getting. Lots of engagement, lots of DMs to you, to me. Just a lot of support from this community that's growing every day. So just got to keep at it. Got to be consistent. We've done a good job of that so far. Of course, that'll always be tested, but so far it's been great, and the outreach that we've gotten and the support has been phenomenal. So I just want to thank everyone, uh, for watching us, for interacting with us, for helping grow this not just our channel or network and stuff, but just the university in general. That's why we do it. We alumni, we're fans. We love this school. That's why we do it.
We're at 163 subscribers on YouTube, so if you have not already, be sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification as well to be notified when we post our podcast and other such content. I have a few ideas I want to try to do for this week. I'll get back to you on that one, Luke, because I think the people will enjoy those ideas. So you're frozen on my screen, but the people heard what I said, so I don't really care. But like I said, 163. We're trying to get to 200 before we get into basketball season, which we also got some more plans coming your way soon. All right, look, let's dive straight into it. Sam Houston, whew, it didn't look good at first, I will say. It was very rough. That first half took forever. That game nearly took 4 hours. That's why we hosted a space so late in the night. But at the end of the day, the Bearcats were able to do what they're supposed to do, come out of El Paso 41-21 point victors, more than covered the spread. That was at 10 when it kicked off. 20-point victory, and the theme is continuing, Luke. They're going up against these opponents that are lesser on paper, but what they're doing is they're dominating. The offense just keeps on doing their thing. They scored over 40 points, at least 40 points rather, for the second straight game. And every single one of their victories, Luke, they have scored at least 30 points, and it looks like this offense is not slowing down, and the defense did good as well.
Yeah, outside of that, kind of the first half. I mean, really, it was the first quarter, which is kind of that really slow start there. Had a great first drive, and then after that, it was not very pretty at all. I mean, it was punt, punt,
It was a
a
sick
turnover on downs, punt, punt.
yeah.
It was just,
It was a
it was just kind
sickos
of nasty.
it was a sickos committee game, that's for sure, for a moment there.
Oh, completely. And they were tweeting about it too, weren't they? But no, it was a good game. Um, I think that second half is really where we saw Sam Houston's team, especially the offense, really take control of this one, largely due to the run game. Um, but also, I mean, the offensive line was great. But Hunter Watson, I thought, composed himself pretty well. Throwing in the pocket, it wasn't as pretty as I'd hoped. But when we got him rolling out and designed some things just to get Watson, just get him on kind of the run and set up some easy throws, that really built up some confidence. And it just wasn't one guy, Colin. It was, it was a plethora of guys. 8 different receivers, I think, was the total for Sam Houston, and all with multiple catches and some actually tremendous catches. I mean, Michael Phoenix got highlighted there on SportsCenter, which was pretty cool seeing Sam highlighted there. But it's just a good, solid performance on the offense. That the passing game was good. It was probably the best we've seen it in a long time. So, and of course the running game, right? It's kind of goes without saying now.
Yeah, I one of our keys to the game was test out the passing, and that was more of my key. Um, Obviously, this team runs the football so well, but I pointed out that we still needed to try to get that passing game going. And this was a good opportunity because UTEP's not that good against the passing game, and Watson went 19 of 29, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. It at first was off to a slow start. He and Quavez, honestly, um, just near misses, like quite a couple near misses. Honestly, if any of those connected, Watson probably has an over 300-yard passing game. But he did finally find Quavez Humphreys. Yeah, 8 targets to Quavez and 2 catches for the wide receiver, and it was a nice little. I mean, UTEP honestly went to cover zero at the worst possible time. I mean, Humphreys just is towering over his, you know, over the cornerback that's guarding him. And then once he made that inside move on that slant route, it was over. It was done. And Watson perfectly placed pass. Didn't try to bullet pass it, just softly tossed it in there so that Humphreys can catch it on the run. And it was just perfectly executed every time. It's gonna get into the end zone every time. It's perfectly executed like that. And then, like you said, that back shoulder catch by Michael Phoenix. I mean, Watson could have placed it a bit better, but he placed it in a spot where Phoenix had a shot. And that's kind of part of being a quarterback when you're throwing the football, trusting your receivers to make the catch. And Phoenix athletic ability to stay in bounds just barely. I thought he went out of bounds maybe with that right foot, but they might have looked at it briefly during the break, and he stayed in. And yeah, overall though, Luke, do you think Watson is? Are we gonna now start seeing that uptick in the passing game more, where we think the playbook and the play calling rather is going to be more balanced, rather just run constantly all the time?
It's a good question because you say balanced. We ran the ball technically 51 times this game and threw the ball, um, what was it, 29 times. So when you say balanced, maybe not that much, but um, I think that's kind of what you kind of want to throw. I think 29 times might be a little too much. Um, and some of those, granted, those rushing attempts were, scrambles from Watson, and who knows if they designed those, say, hey, we're just gonna run these routes, and you're gonna take off and run. Like coaches do that, and players
Oh
do
yeah,
that. Um, but I think when you talk about balance, you really mean getting some guys involved. And when you have a guy like Quavis Humphreys that if he gets past you, you're not going to catch him and you're not going to be able to tackle him because he's just that big and that strong and that fast. Like he is a true X receiver. That's the guy that you want to get going. Um, and you've been talking about Michael Phoenix. Directly to me, texting on the Twitter saying we need to get this guy more involved. I think this guy can really do something. Well, there you go. He showed you something, right? And um, the Noah Smith situation right now is kind of up in the air.
yeah.
Um, we don't really know much about that, but I think
He
that kind of
seemed
efficient game.
he seemed fine. He just was in street clothes. Just didn't see him after the first half, I would say.
yeah, it could just be something just kind of bothering him. I don't know, and could have been a Keeler decision. Hey, we got this game under control. We don't need you. We can go with someone else. That's fine. It could be one of those, but um, I think the kind of game that Hunter Watson had, efficient, um, two touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over. That's what you just want to
Well,
see. You just want to see
well,
Hunter
he
Watson do
did.
that.
He did technically turn the ball over, the fumble in the end zone.
Well, okay, fumble. He did fumble it. He did.
So
Bad snap, fumble.
yeah,
It's okay. But the two touchdowns, that's the kind of game that you want him to do. And still lean on this running game. I mean, DJ McKinney has been phenomenal. Jay
yeah.
Ducker, phenomenal. Um, I don't know how long DJ McKinney's going to be here at Sam.
I mean, I don't know, Luke. It, it's it that is it's it that is how college football is today. When one of your players does really well that not a lot of people know about, like DJ McKinney, not a lot of people knew about him. I mean, I knew about him whenever I was at spring at not spring training camp when he was getting a lot of the carries during practices and he looked really well and I thought we were in and I knew we were going to see him, but Luke, 14 carries, 138 yards, two tutties, including that long 59-yard run where the UTEP just sent everybody on the blitz and it just did not work. That's twice they went all out on that blitz and it just didn't work out for them twice. And
Calling this the CBS broadcast did a great job highlighting that play and talking about the blocking. I mean, it was let's see, it was a tie. I think it was Garza out there. It was Garza or Sohn, but then the three linemen all on that right side, just perfect down
mhm.
blocks. Just, I mean, it was the perfect play Sam could have ran there.
I just love now. I love when they run out the 12 personnel with Sohn and Garza. That is, I don't know what it is, but that duo is so good. It seems like every time they throw out that personnel, it's an easy yardage for any running back that runs out there. I mean, Ducker got started with that touchdown to begin with, and he just shot out of a cannon. Like he's sneaky explosive. I will say that, but that running you cannot have 295 yards on the ground without great work from the offensive line. It was a bit shaky at first. There were some pre-snap penalties that shouldn't happen. There was an illegal man downfield that shouldn't have happened. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, dude, credit offensive line head coach Mike Bankston. He has, and also new strength and conditioning coach Kevin Schott. They have done a tremendous job working with the O line because it's not easy working with the O line. It's not. It's one of those position groups. It's just like I can't really describe how hard it is because it's such a vital part of your offense. If you don't, if you're, we saw it last year. If your old line's not on top of their game, it's gonna be a long season, for any team. But
It's yeah,
credit Bankston and credit Shot. Just unbelievable job they've done for this offensive line.
it's the position group that when it's bad, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah. And when it's good, you talk about the running backs. Like it's just kind of one of those positions it just gets lost because of the flash of the skill guys, but it really has been. And um, it's a veteran group. Hagler. I know he didn't have the best night last night, but veteran led guys that have played a lot of football, the tight ends helping out, like you said, in 12 personnel. I like to see us getting 22, get two backs back there, and um, really throw some misdirection, some counters, traps, things like that, pin and pulls, all those type things. Really get teams on the back foot, and then that'll really set up that the huge play action shot there. But no, that the O line has been tremendous. That it was the huge drive out of the third quarter. I think it was the second scoring drive. I think that we had it was It was double digit plays, running, just ran right over UTEP, and they just had no answer to him. And it was very similar to Texas State, where Texas State just got outplanned, outworked, tired. It was the same exact thing. That's what this line does. They just lean and lean and lean on you until you fall down.
Well, it's also the second straight game that Casey Keeler went up against a very young head coach, and that has a lot to do with it, honestly.
Yeah,
In my
yeah.
opinion,
I
at
think
least.
that some of that young flash, maybe the old dog still there chomping at the bit. I don't know. I mean, I just a dominant win by Casey Keeler.
Yeah. Um. Now switching to the other side of the ball real quick, because they deserve a lot of credit as well, especially for their performance throughout the season, the defensive side of the ball. Give them credit. They're only responsible for 14 points, which happened late in the game. I know it says 21, but that 21 was caused by an offensive turnover in the red zone. But Isaiah Isaiah Cash had a great game. I was gonna get very livid if he got thrown out for targeting, because and one of the CBS guys was saying that, oh, that was targeting. Oh, what? It's not targeting, when it was clearly like shoulder to shoulder. It was a legal football move. But
I don't know what targeting is, Colin.
I
I
I
just
I,
don't
per- I
because
personally
because
think it's. Go ahead.
they were talking about the lunge. That's what their issue was, lunging on the defensive receiver um in that manner. But I mean, the receiver had he caught it and his head went down, so it looked like he wasn't, but they were arguing it was, and then leading with the shoulder. I don't know, but I
I
don't think
think
half the players know what targeting is.
I think it's anything to do with the head area, unless it's incidental. But incidental could be very subjective.
What is incidental?
Ba-
What is a catch?
I think
You know what I
I
mean?
think well, as a Cowboy fan, that's a very daunting question.
It is. It is. It's a question that we still have yet to answer.
Well, the defense had two picks. Caleb Weaver had the pick in the first half, where it looked like UTEP was marching. UTEP had the momentum. I forgot what happened on that drive on before that drive, but they marched down the field and they were in Bearcat territory. And then the
That was
first.
Colin. That was the turnover on downs.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
that
and
was
then they
right.
threw
The
the trick
turnover
play.
downs, the turnover on downs. That's right. And they try to run a trick play for some reason when they didn't need to. Like, in my opinion, Luke, that personally made me a little mad as a football fan. Like, why are you trying a trick play right there? You don't need to do that. Just you have. I mean, I think Cade McConnell is not that bad of a quarterback. It's just unfortunately the receivers let him down that night with like 6 or 7 drops. I can't remember the count. There was a lot of drops that should not have happened, but but either way, he wasn't the one to throw the pick. It was one of their wide receivers, and Sam Houston read that like a book. Read that like a
It
book. They and Caleb Weaver with the interception. Just that just shows that Sam Houston did their homework. They saw that coming a mile away.
it's every game with this guy. I mean, now I don't. It's like, oh, he just got a pick. Yep, that's normal. I mean, that is his what, fourth or fifth interception this year?
Third,
Third? That's it?
he didn't. No one picked off McLeod. He got a pick in New Mexico State. He got a pick against Hawaii.
Hmm. Anyways,
Unless he had two interceptions in one game that I'm not thinking of. But anyways, but I thought the line did a great job once again. The linebacking core did a great job once again. They were without Trey Fields for the first half because of targeting he got in the second half against Texas State. But I thought Kavion Gaither did a tremendous job once again being that leader of that defense. Um, Jalen Jimerson had that pick, that athletic interception, which he
yeah.
got the went up, climbed the ladder to go get it, and fell onto the ground really hard. Landed on Davion Armstead's leg, by the way. I got very scared because he was also slow to get up, but he was fine. He walked it off. Um, so thank the good Lord, nothing happened. Nothing worse happened. Um,
Yeah. Chris Murray, Colin. Chris Murray
Good
was
dog.
everywhere tonight or last night.
I was about to say it, dude. That guy does not get a lot of praise. He has been such a great edge rusher opposite of Isaiah Nixon all year.
Yeah,
He's been great.
this was his best game. This was his best game. Totally. I mean, he was um, in the run, rushing the passer. You know, he forced a fumble there. That was at the end, but just a phenomenal game for him, and that was his best, I think, outing that we've seen of him this year, and I expect him to continue that. I mean, we know the talent that he's had, and the coaching staff, Keeler's talked about in the press conference, really that entire room. But um, we know the type of talent that we have on the edge and the interior, and he just really showed that. And UTEP with a little bit of experience on the O line, we talked about that in our preview episode. That it stuck out like a sore thumb, and Chris Murray was there for the taking.
Yeah, and Denver Warren also registered his first sack as a Bearcat late in the game, so shout out to him as well. Um, I did not see Kendrick DeJour. I do not see Kendrick DeJour on the box score. I don't remember seeing him playing. He was a part of the pregame photos, so maybe there was something before the game they found out, and they were just like, okay, we're not going to play you for this one. So Kendrick DeJour didn't play last night, so that's interesting. Something to keep an eye on for the next 2 weeks leading up to Western Kentucky. And to kind of discuss this, Luke, real quick, this bye week could not have come at a perfect time.
Colin, can I highlight one more player come, and then we'll give it to that?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. Who do you, Luke, want to highlight real quick?
Jaden Cardell in that first quarter and part of the second, when Sam's offense, when we were kind of struggling there to get going, he was absolutely pinning UTEP back
Yeah,
to where they just had, not no room to operate. He did a great job. Three inside the 20, a couple inside the 10, and one inside the 5, I think it was. He had a great night. Just want to punters people too. Got to support the punters.
yeah. Cardell. I mean, we didn't really talk about that last week after the Texas State game. He was one of the main reasons why the Bearcats were able to get this scoring going in that first half to try to call them way back. I mean, this guy has been sneakily really good for the Bearcats and helping out the defense. And yeah, it's shout out Jaden Cardell, honestly. Shout out honestly to special teams in general with Christian Pavon as well. He knocked in a couple more field goals. He's still doing his thing. I mean, it's not possible without the special teams. Coach. I don't know if it's his title, but or special teams analyst. I don't know if that's his title or I don't know what exactly his title is, but Zach Milliot, the coach for um, the special teams guy for Sam Houston, he's done an awesome job. Because special teams are really important. Like you don't see special teams a lot on the field, obviously, but it's really important if you really want to win football games.
It's the position group that can um, it might not win you games, but it can absolutely lose you games, and really just put a damper on things. If your special teams is rocking and rolling, you can really put other teams, other groups in really tough spots. And yeah, Cardell did that. So he's done it all year this year. But people when we talk and when people talk about football, a lot of times you don't talk about the punters. Just wanted to recognize him. He's done a great job this year. He did a great job last night or
Yeah,
Thursday.
I mean, as a Texans fan, I had the honor to watch Shane Leckler, who is one of the greatest punters of all time. I also got to watch Pat McAfee a lot, and those guys, honestly, you know, made me respect punters a hell of a lot more. Like especially as a kid.
Oh yeah,
'Cause-
go ahead.
no, that was my point. Go ahead.
The Cowboys kicker right now, Brian Anger, he has been phenomenal since we brought him. This is his third year, I think it was, and right now we have statistically the best punter in the National Football League playing right now, Jack Fox um, with the Detroit Lions. That dude just kills the ball. It's awesome.
So before, so I said a little bit ago, this bye week could not have come at a better time because they are their next opponent is probably going to be their toughest test yet, conference wise, is Western Kentucky, and Bearkats lost against them last year, and again it was one of those one possession games that could have gone either way, and they got a great quarterback in Caden Velkamp. Um, but Luke, I'm just glad we're not facing them this upcoming week because I would have already chalked this up as a loss for Sam Houston because they're coming off. The reason why I was worried about this game a little bit, not too much, but I was a little worried because you're coming off of an emotional comeback win over Texas State. You're also on short rest because you get yourself cleaned up from the game Sunday, with like getting through your recoveries and all that. Practice Monday, practice Tuesday, fly Wednesday, game Thursday, fly back home Friday. Like that's tough. That's a tough schedule. But like I said, this bye week could not have come at a perfect time.
We're coming off the bye week, and uh, they play UTEP. What was say next Thursday, right? This coming Thursday, and they play Sam Houston on the Wednesday. So it's a short week on top of that. Um, it is a home game for them against UTEP. They're in Bowling Green, right? Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah,
That's where they are,
they're
Colin.
debuting the big red eyes helmets.
Awesome, awesome helmet.
It
But
is awesome.
the spot is the spot is great for Sam because they'll have a short week, travel, and we're at home, right? So it is the perfect spot to have a bye week. And if you were to grade, I want to ask you this question, Colin. Coming into the bye week, what would you grade the performance so far of the Sam Houston team?
I give him an A, Luke. Like no BS, no
It has to
BS,
be.
no BS around it. Honestly, like yes, you can say I'm biased. I'm a Sam Houston graduate. I watched this team. You know, I watched this team quite a lot. Obviously, I covered them. But here's the thing, Luke. I say this from personal experience. I was a part of the first season of FBS play. I was there for every single game, in person, not watching on TV. In person, I was there. I've been on those plane rides after those tough losses. Honestly, Luke, I'm just so happy to see what this team has been able to accomplish. If you show the screenshot, by the way, of what Reddit College Football tweeted out last night, where Sam Houston has 5 wins along with these power schools, and no other G5 school at this time right now has 5 wins except for, I guess, UNLV is probably on the verge of beating Syracuse because they're up right now. But Luke, it's like no one. I've said 6-6 would be fine. Make a bowl game. Luke, they're halfway through the season. They're 5-1. I don't think a lot of people saw this coming. Not a lot of people saw this coming. And Sam Houston has been one of the greatest stories and of for college football. We saw that article that got released of how Sam Houston is playing literal money ball right now with NIL. You just don't see that. You saw how they figured out that Isaiah Cash was not going to be able to get picked up by this Power Four school that wanted to get him, that dropped him at the last second, but Sam Houston was already on top of it and snatched him up, and he's been such a great piece for this defense. The recruiting, just like being able to keep this culture still within this program of being, you know, there to play football and to be there for your teammates, your brothers in arms out there. No controversy, no like n- just no jealousy. Everyone knows they have a role to play, and it's just that's why I just give them a solid A, and I'm just happy to be sitting here right now, heading into the bye week as a Sam Houston fan and as someone that covers it. The team going into the bye week 5-1.
Colin, if you would have told, um, if someone would have told us that we'd be 5-1 going into the bye against Western Kentucky, I would have said you're crazy, and I think you probably would have said the same thing. I would have said, no way. But here we are. It's a total. I mean, this is almost an A plus. An A plus would have been either beating UCF or just barely losing. Like
Yeah,
this has been a tremendous start. And yeah, you talk about it, but that's kind of what Coach Casey Kidd brings. That's kind of what he's done um, throughout his career at Sam Houston and parts of time at Delaware. But he always talks about Colin. He always talks about him always having guys. His best guys are always around him. He's not the best coach on the team. It's the guys around him that makes the team great. What makes Casey Keeler great is that he knows the coaches well enough. He knows that the players. He knows how to put their best people in the right spots. That's what he does. Um, he is the facilitator of facilitators, and I think he'll be the one to tell you that. He'll be the one to say, "Yeah, I know how to find guys that will fit what I want to do wherever I go." And that's, I mean, right here, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. First season, you're thinking, not great, not great. Don't know what's gonna happen. You're 5-1.
yeah. I mean, Cord Nelson, the offensive coordinator, is just heading to his second season, and usually it's like the third or fourth year that you want to see results, but you're seeing results right now. And I know Cord Nelson was getting a lot of criticism last year about his play calling. A
He
lot of
was.
criticism, even coming from me. I will admit, but that last year's season was just a hard baptism into FPS play. That's kind of how I see what last year is. And and you're and when it comes to a coaching staff, you're only as the saying is you're only as good as your weakest link. And right now,
Mm.
I don't there's not a single coach that's not doing their job good right now. Every single one of them is doing a great job going up from the tight ends, the O line, the D line, the edge rushers, the special teams. Everybody on that coaching staff is doing a tremendous job. And Keeler has done a great job of, like you said, surrounding himself with a great cast of coaches.
Colin, I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple categories, and I just want you to answer and kind of give a brief reasoning. Okay.
Okay. Well, you
Player of the year.
player of the year right now. Whew, man. I mean, gotta give it to Hunter Watson. I mean, come on. Like this dude is absolutely been. He's QB1, man. I mean, we both thought we both wanted Jace Bauer. Let's be completely honest here. We both thought Jace Bauer would be QB1, but Hunter Watson's basically shut us up and be like, nope, I'm QB1. So give me player of the year to Hunter Watson. He's been such a big piece.
Who is your comeback player of the year? Player that played for us last season and is having just a phenomenal season this year.
Hmm.
That maybe we didn't see as much, last year, whether that was from injury, opportunity, just not seeing the field.
I will say. We'll say. I'm gonna say Ife so far. I think we still have yet to see much of Ife. Honestly, I think he's gonna be a very big piece. Or actually, no. I will say Ife, but I'm gonna say Quavez because he was hurt last year. I keep forgetting that he was hurt last year. So give me
All
Quavez.
right.
Give me Quavez Humphreys. But I will say about Ife, I will say he's gonna play a big role in the second half. I will say that for that time.
And it's going to sound so ridiculous when I say this, but it's so true. What's really freed up this running game is him going in motion in the actual um, the jet sweep that he runs.
Oh
Running that as a motion and faking it has completely changed the way we've been able to run.
well, yeah,
In the motion, in the shotgun, under center. That has given a whole new dynamic to this offense that it's so football guyish to say that, but that's I mean it's the truth.
well, the thing is, when he goes in motions, it just throws off the linebackers. Like if you don't have a disciplined linebacking core when you're facing this same Houston team, you're gonna have a long night because if because everybody, it's not a secret. Ade is one of the fastest players in college football overall, not just in Group of Five, college football overall. So
Yeah,
if Watson wants to, he could hand it off to him unless it's not gonna not designed that way. But in the back of your mind, as a defender, God, if he gets out to that boundary and open space, it's and he gets downhill, it's game over because you're not gonna catch him most of the time.
you're taking a guy out of the box. You're changing leverage. You're giving
Mm-hmm.
yourself an
Yep.
opportunity, just position wise, really to get out in front of the guy you're supposed to block. And it's leverage. That's what it is. Okay, Colin,
Next one.
defensive player of the year.
Oh, it's gotta be Caleb Weaver. I mean, come on. He's been we already talked about this. You said that he could be Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year when it's all said and done. He's been amazing. He's been all over the place. I would also say Chris Murray as well. And Kavion Gaither would be there as well with him as Defensive Player of the Year for the Bearcats as a team. Like, give me Caleb Weaver.
All right, Colin. Well, my next question was going to be defensive player of the year. That's not Caleb Weaver. That was going to be my next question, but
Okay.
you kind of answered that.
Yeah, I answered that for you. So
I'm surprised you went with Chris Murray, though. I would have thought for sure you would have said Gabe.
I said both as you froze again on my screen. Folks, I need this internet is it's just gonna kill me. It's gonna stress me out, that's for sure. But either way, nothing about my internet. I will say, you, I said both Chris Murray and Kavion Gaither, but I think it's just I don't know. I can't put one on top of the other honestly when it comes to those two guys because they both play different positions. Kavion's your Mike, Murray's your edge rusher.
Yeah,
So they both have different jobs. You know what I'm saying?
totally, totally. Yeah, one frees up the other, right? Okay. This might sound a little confusing, but let me just give it to you straight. Most surprising thing about the team this year, and your wish that hasn't come true.
Oh man. So you the most surprising thing that's happened for this team?
Yes.
I mean, I would say the 5-1 record, but that's too easy. Um, just the it's DJ McKinney just been the biggest surprise. Um, we all thought it was gonna be Ducker and Gentry. Gentry didn't play last night. By the time we're recording this, it's Friday night. He didn't play. He didn't suit up. But and we both knew Ducker was gonna be a very big piece. But DJ McKinney, talk about a guy. If Gentry, because last year Luke, this running back group was injured to hell. So we had to rely on Isaiah Nixon for a game, which is crazy to think about. That Nixon
Yeah.
scored two touchdowns. That's a great Bearcat trivia question, like on game night or something like that. That'd be pretty cool though.
Mm.
For a charity night, that'd be pretty cool, honestly. But either way, but yeah, DJ McKinney, my biggest surprise of the year. Big, been amazing, man. He's been amazing. And again, I like to repeat the phrase that Casey Keeler said about him: half pit bull, half Chihuahua.
And your wish that hasn't come true. That's the last question for me.
When it comes to the performance on the field, like,
Sure. Well, where else would you go?
I thought how the way the season's going yet, but
Gotcha.
my biggest wish that hasn't come true yet: consistency at the passing game. I guess it's kind of a hard
Okay, yeah.
it's kind of hard because but my wish sort of came true last night against UTEP, but it was still shaky at times. I still want to see more of that passing game. I will say that. But I think
Yeah.
but I think playing that kind of game against UTEP, it has prepared yourself. Because Luke, here's the thing: if you want to beat Liberty twice this year, because you're probably going to play Liberty in the championship game if Sam Houston makes the championship game. If you want to beat Liberty twice, if not just the one time at the championship game, you're gonna have to throw the football. You
Hmm.
you can't be too one dimensional. I mean, the running game's great right now, but when it comes to time to playing Liberty, where you're gonna have to be in a shootout with them, possibly if the if because the defense is gonna have a tough time with Caden Salter and Quentin Cooley.
Right.
No knock on the defense, but I feel like that's what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be very prepared this go around. I mean, they shut out Liberty in that second half nearly. So
Yeah.
last year, but yeah, I would say that. I would say that.
And that could be that's potentially a spot where you get because in Conference USA there is no neutral site game. There is no for the championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sam Houston could have the opportunity to have back-to-back home games against
Oh
Liberty
man.
for the conference championship.
Oh, that would be, dude. Conference USA Championship game in Bauer Stadium. Oh, that's gonna break records, bro.
That's an
That
electric factory. That
that's
is
gonna
a straight up electric
that
factory.
is gonna feed families.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna do more than that.
It's gonna feed families, and but yeah. Overall, Luke, I'm even though it's sad that the Bearkats are not gonna play for a while. I'm just glad we're going to this bye week 5-1. Like beyond expectations. This program has performed beyond expectations.
And you talked about already that article that by CBS Sports. Um, we'll probably put it in the bio just to link it
Yeah,
for those that haven't looked at it.
yeah.
It is a tremendous, really uh, well written, well thought kind of explanation of kind of what's been going on at Sam. Um, it just highlights everything that the program has challenges with, but also what it's exceeded in and going through that. And when he talks about Moneyball, um, with this program, it really is tremendous. And you see programs that have a lot of money. I mean, look at Florida State do absolutely nothing with, right? I mean, they have all the resources in the world, and they can't buy a win. And you're
Isn't
saying Houston right here.
wasn't it Nick Saban that said if you pay the wrong guy, you're in you're basically in deep crap. It,
Pretty much. And a part of the article talks about um, kind of the way the NIL works at Sam. There's not much money going on to transfers um, coming from another school. It's all staying in the in-house guys who have been with the program the longest. Um, and that just kind of shows the loyalty of these guys, this team, the leaders, but also it's kind of the culture that Sam has and it's built over the past few years, which separates us from many schools. We might not be the biggest school, we might not have the most money, but I'm pretty damn sure that we have a top. 15-10 culture in college football.
Absolutely. I mean, yes, Sam Houston does need very much needed upgrades on facilities. Yes, the alumni support needs to get still be rebuilt, and the relationship, I should say, not this support, but the relationship still needs to get built upon. I mean, Luke, honestly, it's like with how college football is changing almost nearly every day. I mean, I don't know if you heard from the BSN Extra podcast, but Bobby Williams was said that they were approached by the Mountain West and asked if they were interested in joining the conference, and he said no.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't even care about the numbers. That's the right move. I hope a lot of people understand why that's the right move. Because one, it's not the Mountain West of what we've all remembered. The travel would suck, and I mean those are the two things, honestly.
It's it's you have two opposite thoughts, right? You have Mountain West, yeah, more money, probably more media exposure, which is always a good thing. That's huge for a program. But also then you turn into the program and the school that's changed conferences um, four times in what, 7 years
Jeez.
at that point, 'cause it'd be 2026 or am I getting that date right? Whatever the date is. It's not, I mean, it would be just weird. And that's just, if you do that, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but this is more of this is who you are. Conference is um, our size, our region, our geographic area of the U.S. It makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Houston kind of. Go ahead, Colin.
I yeah, I mean, you kind of broke off there when you said since, but just kind of repeat that thought real quick if you don't mind.
It for me it's weird because these conferences, the WAC, the Mountain West, Conference USA, Southland, all these conferences, um, I've been trying to get Sam, and it's not like we have the greatest facilities. It's not like we are the biggest university, biggest brand. There's something about this school that a lot of conferences really like. And I don't know if it's just being in the state of Texas, if it's just kind of our overall um, athletic program just winning a lot of games in baseball, really in the men's sports, but also like women's bowling. Our rodeo is huge, golf, but like um, really when it comes down to is your football, men's basketball, baseball, and volleyball. Like those are kind of the big ones. Something about Sam has been very attractive to these other conferences, which you have to like, so there's something there, and just very pleasing to see Sam, being wanted by these conferences. And another thing, when I talk about the culture of the team, Colin being a top 5, 10, whatever culture, last year I think was the best thing that could have happened for us. Meaning, you take that many blows in the way we did, not just being one of the most injured teams, but um, it's the way we lost, losing all those games. I think that's really what separates this team from ones in the past and, even the teams in the conference today and, you know, games last year. It sounds stupid, but I kind of buy into it.
The culture.
Yeah, but just the way, just like losing those games has helped us this year.
Yeah. Well, well, Luke, it is starting to get late now. I am still tired because that game took forever last night, nearly 4 hours. I didn't know when it would end. But Luke, you got any final thoughts before we sign off on pod number 23 of Sam Houston Sports Talk.
Well, I've kind of rambled this podcast, not gonna lie, and that was kind of my final thoughts there. Just
Okay.
um, just super pleased though. I mean, 5-1, 2-0 in the conference overall. I mean, it's just been a fantastic start, and it's a hell of a week for the bye. Um, College basketball season's getting near.
Yep.
October baseball, Colin, have to mention it. Both of our teams out. Uh, the poor Bearkats up there in Baltimore out. Just did not have a good series there, but it's kind
Oh,
of nice.
that
We'll be
sucks.
able to take this October off, maybe.
Yeah. I I guess you got that right, but that'll do it for us here at Sam Houston Sports Talk. Pod 23 concludes here on this Friday night. It will be, and by the time people are looking at this, it will not be Friday night. But I just like speaking in the present. But as you know, guys, be sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video, comment down below. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us how you think the Bearkats did in this first half of the season. How do you feel about them being 5-1? What do you want to see? What do you like seeing? Anything. Just comment down below. Tell us your thoughts, and we will get to your comments. Also, follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, Facebook, and all that great stuff. We passed 600 followers on Twitter. Let's see if we can keep it up, guys. As Luke's frozen again on my screen, that just means that we need to sign off. So, Luke, I'm gonna wait for you to get unfrozen. It looks like you're still gonna be frozen. So, but either way, guys, yeah, there you are. There you are. You froze again, man. I think the internet just wants us to get off.
Have you closed this out yet, Colin?
No, I have not.
Hey, just
So I'm
eat 'em
just
up, cats.
eat 'em up, cats. Y'all have a great night. Eat 'em up, cats. Enjoy the bye week, guys, because it's gonna get crazier once the bye week is over in Western Kentucky. And once Western Kentucky comes around, guys, hashtag Pack Bowers.